Welcome to Subramani. We have all heard of this phrase that better safe than sorry, right? Now imagine 10,000 years ago, two people were standing near a tree and they saw an animal in the far off distance traveling at a reasonably fast pace, not a very big animal. They couldn't decide what it was, so both of them climbed the tree and they sat up and they found it was just a deer, right? So one guy turns to the other and said, better safe than sorry, because instead of a deer it could have been a tiger, right? So look at the disadvantages. You could not negotiate with the tiger and say, just take away my leg or just take away my hand, just eat below my knee so that I can use the other leg. You couldn't. You were either dead or you were alive. Now come back to this question which everybody asked me: is the equity market high? Is the Indian equity market high? Do you think the whole world is now high because of the note printing by the central banks, right? These are 3-4 questions which you keep getting asked pretty regularly, and you really don't have an answer. The most important thing is you don't have an answer. You can beat around the bush and give something else. Now look at it this way. The advantage is it is not all or none, right? The tiger would not negotiate for the hand or a leg. It would just kill the man, right? Now, if you think, first of all, what you think in the market is far more important than what other pundits tell you. I've done enough videos on market forecasting, etc. It doesn't work. So you have to decide what you want. So if you think that the Indian markets are overpriced, which means Indian equity markets are overpriced, sell a little bit of equity and put that into bonds. If you think Indian markets are relatively more expensive than US, sell a little Indian stocks and buy US stocks. If you think US is overpriced and Japan is overpriced and they've had finished with their bull run and Europe is likely to start, put some money in Europe. Most important thing is it's not all or none. You don't have to put all your money into one market. You don't have to put all your money in debt because you think equity is overpriced. This gift to us was given to us in 1950 by Markowitz, when he talked about diversification. Even the people who came before him did not speak about diversification. So he spoke about a portfolio having not only railroads, but railroads, mining companies, banks, whatever in those industries which were available. He said making a portfolio like that makes more sense. I'm not getting into the MPT theory, the efficient frontier. Those who want can go and search. There is enough stuff available on Google. And he said a diversified portfolio will perform better than a concentrated portfolio, and it is absolutely true for 99% of the world investors. So you want to put the money in equity. Let's say you put 65-70% of your money in equity. Now you think you should have money in US, you should have money in Europe, you should have money in Japan, you should have money in Hong Kong, you should have money in Korea, right? If you think there are funds available with which you can achieve this portfolio, but you decide how much, right? So where does it start? It starts by knowing what is the total return that you want. Suppose to achieve your goals, you require 3-4% kind of a return. Honestly, why would you break your head with so much of which equity, which debt, etc.? You will achieve all your goals keeping in just good quality RBI bonds or State Bank of India fixed deposit, and even paying tax on it. It doesn't matter. You need 3%, right? And you're not worried about inflation. You have enough bigger portfolio. That is how it should be. Don't chase returns just for the heck of chasing returns. Don't worry that your portfolio or your mutual fund portfolio is not in the top quartile. It doesn't matter if it can meet your goals. So very important to know that asset allocation works. Your asset allocation should do 2-3 things for you. You should feel comfortable that you will reach your goal. It should give you you should be able to eat well, you should be able to sleep well, and you should feel confident with what you have done. When you have less confidence, reallocate your portfolio. Just make some small tweaking changes. If you think you can achieve everything with very high quality debt, you don't need to put money in equity. Then you can put 70-80% in debt and put 20% in equity. That's enough. That will take care of you. Have good fun doing it if that's what you're looking for, right? Or if you are a person who is very comfortable with equity and you say, no, all the returns come in equity, debt is only for stabilizing a little bit, I will not bother about it on a day-to-day basis, it need not be there in my portfolio, that is also right. Rakesh Jhunjhunwala's portfolio doesn't look like the same as Niranjan Hiranandani's portfolio, right? One is real estate and one says I should not have real estate. Both are right. It is their point of view. Far more important, like what Markowitz said, is you can do asset allocation, little here, little here, little here, depending on your comfort level, not on the basis of some research report which you have done. Your intuition tells you this, do this only when you have experience, and then see how you are at it and see how you are developing. You need not concentrate too much. And please understand, even Graham and all did not talk about diversification. Look at what happened to Japan, right? 1989 peak, it didn't touch for at least next 30 years, right? We're at 30 years, it is not touched. So you need to know that markets, creating a portfolio with very little correlation between assets is very good, but please understand, we get all the data that is possible with what has happened in the past. It does not mean the same thing will happen in the future. Correlations change, right? So if you think US market goes up and same time Indian market goes up, suddenly it could happen that Indian market goes up and US market goes down, or vice versa, right? The reverse could also happen. We do not know. All the correlations which you study in the with past data may not be useful. It may not be relevant. Like, you can always draw a graph between the pig production in the country and the pig iron production in the country. There is no relationship. That you should have the wisdom to know what to compare, right? Once you do all this, you will know how to use future data which somebody is telling you about prediction, what you need, what are your goals. Only when you know all this, you will appreciate asset allocation, learning from Markowitz without going too much into theory, right? And not even worrying that today Markowitz is 50-50 debt and equity. You may have a slightly different view on life. You may want an exposure to US, you may want an exposure to Europe, you may want a greater exposure to equity in India. Your choice, your decision. Remember, it's not all or none. Parts can be lost and parts can be won, right? So don't ever say safe or sorry. That is an old saying. It has to go. Your equity portfolio can be much better structured, and you can achieve your results by doing this. Learn about it before you start doing this. That is far more important. So what all do you need to be able to create this? First is expected annual return from each of the asset class in which you are investing. Please look at a range. Don't assume that equity markets will give you 12%. Equity markets could give you 6%, 8%, 12%, 16%, -3%, could be anything. So look at the reasonable range. Look at the probability for each of those ranges. Same thing you have to do for each asset class. Based on that, you can come to a reasonably predictable overall portfolio weighted return. Based on that, if you are happy that you will meet your goals, do it. Please understand that there is a correlation between these assets. You may not be able to understand it, but try predicting it and keep monitoring it. Sometimes it goes right, sometimes it is wrong. Completely unpredictable markets are there. Like in March 2020, I would never have believed that housing demand will go up in a year when there is so much uncertainty, but housing demand did go up. I still can't believe the figures. So over a 3-year period, I have to see the figures whether it is sustainable, because with more uncertainty, more people are worried about losing jobs. How come people are buying houses? I don't know. It is not at all intuitive. It is absolutely counterintuitive to think that housing prices will go up or maybe more children will be produced. We do not know what is going to happen, right? So understand these correlations, understand the projected return, understand what return you need to meet your goals. sit and do this as a proper exercise. Don't just guess. Don't just think that I think the steel demand is going up, so Tata Steel is a good price, good buy. Maybe it is, but that is not enough logic. You have to be able to predict what will happen and what will be the impact on EPS and what people will believe is the future. Based on all these three, prices will go up, not just on the basis of what you think about why one company share is worth buying. So understand all this, create your portfolio, and that should be fine. Thank you.